Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to see how reference dataset works in Oracle HCM Cloud. The functionality of reference dataset is used to partition your assignment data. In HCM, there are 4 objects are set enabled. Those are job, grade, location, and department. When we configure the business unit, we know we need to associate that business unit with the reference dataset. That is something mandatory. Similarly, when we configure each of these HCM objects, we need to also associate those with the reference data set. Okay, once this configuration is done, how actually this works in worker assignment page? To put that in a simple statement, if the reference data set between the business unit and the HCM object is matching, then we will be able to access those values. If it is not matching, then we will not be able to access those values. That's how the functionality works. And the exception goes to a couple of reference data sets named common set and enterprise set provided by Oracle. These are reference data sets, basically doesn't do any partition at all. Let's say if I create a job using common set, then that job is actually shared across all the business units. Oracle has also provided an extensibility of overriding the default reference data set by each of these HCM objects if required. To give you an example, let's say I have list of departments in my company which I want to share it across all the business units, and I have list of jobs specific to the business units which I want to partition by the business units. I don't want to share those across the business unit. To map these kind of requirements into system, we can use the override functionality. And now we know the outline of reference dataset functionality and how it works in Oracle HCM. Let's move to the next slide. In this slide, what I've covered a simple sample requirement. I've taken job as an example. If you see here I've taken 2 business units, 3 jobs each, and I have covered couple of scenarios here. If you see, operations manager is a job which I want to share it across the business units, and I have couple of jobs here and couple of jobs here which are specific to the business units. I don't want to share these with other business units. And this is the requirement. Let's say to map this requirement, what all the configurations are required. We need these 3 steps to be done to map this requirement into the system. The step 1 is to define the reference data set. Why we are defining a new reference data set? That is because for these 2 jobs and these 2 jobs, we know we are not going to use common set or enterprise set. When we use common set or enterprise set, we know that will be accessible across all the business unit. That is not what we want. And step 2, we are defining a business unit. That is quite straightforward. Business unit for this one and business unit for this one. When we define a business unit and we are associating those with the respective reference data set, and as a third step, what we are doing, we are creating all these 5 jobs and we are associating those jobs with the respective reference data set. Here if you take a look, operations manager, I'm associating that with common set because I want this to be shared across all the business unit, wherein these 2 jobs, I have attached these 2 jobs with wind power set so that it will be under wind power BU. Similarly, I have attached solar jobs with solar power set so that it will be accessible only under solar power BU. Once these 3 steps are configured, then the worker assignment page will behave as per our requirement. Let's see that in the system. Before we get into the system, I have also provided some navigations, some useful navigations. I'll just take you through that. The first navigation is to create a new reference data set or query the existing one. The second navigation is to create the business unit, and the third one is to override the default reference data set at the business unit level, and the fourth navigation is to define a new job. Okay, let's get into the system to see how the configuration and the solution works. Okay, as a first step, what we are going to do, we are going to configure the reference data set. Okay, this is the page. We define the new reference data set. We click on the plus icon and we will enter the code, name and the description, and then we will click on save to complete the configuration. Now I have entered the details. I am going to click on save and close. Now we are going to define this business unit. The navigation is under workforce deployment, under organization structure. So I have to click on all task, then manage business unit. I'm selecting the reference data set created for wind power business unit. Click on save and close. I'm doing the same for the solar as well. I have now completed configuring both the business units. Now we will go ahead and define the jobs. So the navigation is under workforce deployment. So we got to select workforce structures. Then we got to select all tasks. Scroll down to see the manage jobs. We need to click on create button to create a new job. I'm creating the operations manager job and I am assigning that with a comment set. So all other fields, what I'm going to do, I'm going to give a code which is mandatory. All other fields, I'm going to keep it blank. Similarly, I'm going to configure the other 4 jobs as well. I have now completed the jobs configuration. If you see, operations manager is associated with comment set and a couple of solar related jobs are associated with solar reference data set. Similarly, wind business unit is jobs are associated with wind power reference data set. Now what we are going to do, we are going to test our configuration in worker assignment page. Now we are in the assignment page. I'm going to select solar power business unit first. So I have selected solar power business unit here. Now when I search these 3 jobs, I should be able to access. When I try to search these 2 jobs, I should not be able to access because this is actually comes under wind power business unit. Let's see that in the system. See, the list of jobs are listed here is actually configured under these two jobs are configured under the solar power business unit, and operation manager is something we configured with the command set. So we are able to access these three jobs, wherein the other two jobs specific to wind power business unit is not populated here because I use the same code for that also. I'll show that to you. Now if you see, the jobs that are defined under this business unit are populated, and also the one that we have defined using the command set is also populated here. Now we successfully mapped this requirement into the system and we saw it was working fine. I hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching.